Oh, my class. Oh, I forgot my class was starting. Oh, I totally forgot. Okay, let's reorganize here. Okay, all right. So this is, yeah, that looks like biology class. All right, so let's get into this biology class. I had my little friend, yeah, my friend here, Flipper is his name. So I was getting kind of hungry. It's getting lunchtime, so we'll just keep him here for now. So first of all, we want to make sure we want to go over our worksheet, of course, that we had yesterday. So first of all, pages 390 to 391. Go ahead and get out that piece of paper. Only 3 questions. Notice we had to make sure you guys circled the fin that you like and that you gave an example, or not give an example, and you told me why you actually like that fin. So the number 1 right here, what produces the slimy mucus layer on the fish that makes them slippery and smelly? That would be the mucus cells. Those are going to produce those very pungent smells as well. Kind of interesting is that that's going to help them maneuver in throughout the water as well, and then it's also going to protect them, making sure that their scales are also lubricated, I guess you can say that, so that they're able to maneuver with the water. True or false? Do fish have chromatophores? That is true. That is definitely true. So we also talked about reptiles, how they had chromatophores. They were able to change their color to their environment depending on where they were in. If you guys have ever heard of, I think it's cuttlefish. Cuttlefish are actually kind of interesting. They're able to adapt, almost like a chameleon. They're able to adapt to their surroundings, whether it's sand or something else. Not really sure. Well, depending on the situation, I guess. They can either turn like an orange color, dark color, or even a sandy color as well. Number 3, used as bony plates under the dermis. That was actually epidermis, because I had to change that. That would be scales, of course. And today, I actually have on some scales. Scales right here, and also on my shirt right here. So Flipper is going to help us out here with that today. So first of all, I don't even know if I remember these scales at all. So I'm actually going to have you guys help me with this. So first of all, here's my first scale. Notice here we have some, let's get a picture here. We have some serrated edging right here, kind of on both sides. Might be kind of hard to see. There we go. Also, you kind of see that they're overlapping, of course. That's a great example of that as well. Does anyone know what type of scales these are? Raise your hand, say, hey, I know this one. Anyone at all? All right, so Daniel, yes. Ctenoid, right? Ctenoid. There you go. That is the correct pronunciation for that. When we get to invertebrates, there's actually going to be something called ctenophores, which I believe it's jellyfish or something similar to that. Hopefully, we'll get to that. All right, good. So we have the serrated edges one. Excellent. All right, so I have another scale. Which one should I? Let's go to this one. Notice this one. This one's kind of overlapping too, and that it even has on the very ends of these, they're actually kind of smooth shaped. Kind of interesting. What type of scales would this be called? Who would know that? How about Janice? We'll unmute you here. Not quite. Close. Anyone else would like to? How about Yana? I haven't seen Yana on here in a while. So Yana, what would that be? Not quite. All right, so how about let's go to the left on my screen. Elizabeth, what would that be? Hello. What would these scales be? What was that? Oh, this is not good. All right, so we need to know which type of scales that we're talking about here. So who can help me? What in the world are these smooth shaped scales here? Maybe I didn't draw them clear enough for you guys, but what would these be? Someone help me. All right, I see. Oh man, this is hard. Janice or Daniel? Let's see. Let's go. Let's go to Janice here. Janice, can you redeem yourself here? Cycloid, very good, excellent. So notice that it's more of a smooth shape. Think of a bicycle having those wheels. They're cyclical. They're going around in a circle. So very good. That's what those would be. All right. Next one we have here. How about right here on my shirt? This one, Flipper is right beside it, right there. What about this one? What would this one be a characteristic of? I'm trying to think. Actually, I think Yana, this was your favorite one that we had yesterday. What would that be? Ganoids, very good, excellent. And I think Yana said that she liked it because it was diamond shaped, and I guess girls like diamonds. I guess that's a thing, so that's cool. Whatever, let's continue. Okay, Elizabeth is confirming that. Okay, great to see. All right, so we have another one here. This one's actually kind of cool. I made this one right here. It's kind of more of, I keep wanting to say fierce looking one. I guess you can kind of say that. But what is this one? I think this one was actually James's favorite. So James, what would this be? I can't quite hear you. Can you say that one more time? Oh man, I can't quite hear you. Can someone else help me? What is this one right here? Oh, we have Yana. Yes. There you go. Placoid. Very good. That was close. Very good. It's all right. We all make mistakes, including me in class. It's all right. We'll continue though. So there you go. We have the tentinoid, the cycloid, the ganoid, the placoid as well. So very good. That is all of our scales that we were covered through that we needed to get through as well. We have a new sheet of paper here, so make sure you get that out right now. We're going to be going over that. First of all, any questions? All right, excellent. Let's continue then. So pages 391 to 392. Some of you kind of notice that we're going only like 2 pages at a time. That way we can kind of go through this a little bit. Hope you guys understand what we are doing here. Yesterday we already talked about the scales, of course. It says here, say 2 examples of fish who lack scales completely. Who can remember from yesterday which ones those were? All right, how about Abby? We'll have you. Abby, can you guess for me, please? Not quite. Which one who lacks scales? Which one's lack? That's not good. All right, so first of all, it's going to be the catfish as well as the eel. Sorry, Elizabeth, I saw you phrase in there. I missed you there, so sorry about that. But the catfish and the eels, they do not have the scales. Kind of interesting because those scales are really there to protect them, but unfortunately, catfish and eels do not have those scales. Number 3, what are the W-shaped bands where fish muscles are structured? So this is kind of interesting. If you guys have ever eaten fish before, you know that it's perfectly cooked when you can actually take the flakes off of the skin, and they almost kind of they're almost in layers, I guess you could say. They're that band shape, that W band shape in them. Fish, delicious, but they have that characteristic, and that's myomeres. So myomeres are kind of interesting because they're really kind of different from the muscles that you see in humans. Most of the time, you are going to see muscle that is striated as well as skeletal and heart muscles. But they're going to be that white meat, I guess you can say, and it's always in that W-shaped formation. And when we usually see that, that's going to be a characteristic of a fish. So kind of interesting as well. Number 4 says here, how do you find the age of a fish? Well, that will be the growth rings. Of course, we've already covered trees, probably in the very first quarter, I guess, and we went through annual growth rings. So kind of interesting. because annual growth rings, you always have springwood and then summerwood. So sometimes when it has a heavy winter or a heavy rainfall, you're going to get a lot of springwood, and then as well as summerwood, which we kind of already went through that, hopefully. But same thing kind of with fish. They're always going to have rings around them. Let me see if yeah. So if you guys actually look on the bottom of page 391, characteristic right there, you can see on figure 19.4 the fish scales. You have the bony scales, and then on the right-hand side, on the far right there, overlapping scales, the growth rings there. You can actually count those growth rings. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there you go. Let's see if the other scales are actually compared to that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. Actually, I might have forgotten. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I don't know if they got this figure right, but one scale says 8 growth rings. The other one says 7. I'm not sure if they did that correctly. Interesting. But let's look at our scales that we have on my shirt here today. So first of all, we have this scale right here. Notice I actually put the growth rings on one of them. So how many growth rings do we have on this one? I'm going to use my left hand to unmute someone. Who can help me out with this one? How about Andrew? How many growth rings? 6. Let's see if Andrew was correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very good. Excellent job. That's exactly right. So pretty simple, not too difficult. Let's go with Jana's favorite right here with our ganoid right here. We have this one right here. Might have to get closer here. How many growth rings? I'll just take it off. Here we go. How many growth rings does this have? Let's see, John, yes. 10 growth rings? Whoa, no, that is incorrect. Okay, you can't see it very too well, or too good, I guess. There you go. So we have, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 on the very last part. So that is 5. So there's 5 growth rings. Make sure you guys actually count the very last ring on here. This one, it's hard to do this backwards. Right here, all along the scale here, that counts as a growth ring. Notice that these ganoids, they are right up next to each other. These are not overlapping. So kind of cool characteristic for them as well. We can continue through the scales. I actually drew more on our ctenoids that we had here. We're going to continue, though. You guys already know how to count growth scales here as well. Myomeres are controlled by one large nerve. That is incorrect. That is not true. We actually have each individual muscle cells actually controlled. I just lost the scale. Each is controlled by one cell each. Kind of interesting because if you've ever looked at a fish and the way it swims, it's always very fluid, and it's kind of interesting to look at because if you even do that with your hand, it's like we're not very consistent in that. We don't really move our hands and our limbs like that. But fish, on the other hand, they have this characteristic where those myomeres are controlled by individual nerves, which is really interesting characteristic of a fish that we have. 3 skeletal muscles of a fish that we also have compared to vertebrates are pretty much the same thing, actually. We're going to have skeletal muscle. We're going to have heart muscles, and then we're going to finally have, what was our last? Smooth muscles. So those skeletal muscles, pretty much for moving our fins, of course, we need that skeletal structure in order for us to move. We have those heart muscles in order to pump our heart, as well as with smooth muscles. We need to have that circulation throughout our body, and we are going to have those smooth muscles that help us with that as well. As I kind of look on the bottom of the page here, I see even with this myomeres, it says here, each myomere is controlled by a separate nerve, allowing fish to move its body in wave-like undulating motions that propel the fish forward through the water. We also have different types of characteristics of fish that go, some go faster than the other, some go pretty slow just because of their muscle structure as well. So make sure you guys understand everything that we went over today. You need to make sure you upload this by tomorrow by 3 o'clock. Today, yeah, the worksheet that I posted yesterday, make sure you guys upload that today because I will be grading that right at 3. So make sure you have that submitted at that time. Not only that, what I try to do for you guys is that when you do upload your homework, I try to correct it like right there and then put it in the comments for you guys so that you're able to fix it. So make sure don't just upload your what is it called homework just one time, but make sure you go back continuously and see, oh, Mr. Taylor made a comment, and if I got 100%, like did I do well on it and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you guys are double checking your work like that as well. I did get a memo today about we are no longer having school. You guys aren't coming back for the rest of the year, so we're going to be pretty much doing this all Zoom stuff pretty much till the end of the year. So you guys might have to make yourselves comfortable where you're at. So it seems like a lot of you are, so probably a lot of you don't have a lot of problems with that. So that's great. You guys adapt as well. Then we finally have our homework. So notice you see those are all pretty much in your text. Some of those fins kind of do go with each other, but try to find two fins such as, well, we had tons of fins yesterday. I had my fish hat. We explained those. We had the caudal fin, the dorsal fin, there you go, and the pelvic fin, as well as the pectoral fin. So we have a ton of fins there. They have a responsibility. They have a purpose. So make sure you write the fin and then put that purpose. Put in the description there. What's their purpose? Why are they there? Are they supposed to go in the water or travel through the water quickly? Are they supposed to move them backwards? Are they supposed to make sure they don't tumble over? So make sure you understand that and upload those correctly. That's pretty much all that we had to get going today. Here's my pet flipper. I'll try to put them around my classroom. I'm trying to save them. I am getting kind of hungry. Maybe some of you guys are for lunch for today. But I'm probably not going to have fish. You guys probably won't have fish either. But if you do, awesome. It's really good for you. It's high in minerals and vitamins as well. That's all we need to cover. So you guys can be dismissed. You guys, if you have any questions, stay on the line. I want to help you guys out. And then we'll see you guys next class period, all right? So we'll see you guys later. Mateus, are you still on the line here? What is this?